Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I got a 2014 Jeep Patriot. Compass is the same vehicle. And it's got a problem that happens on a lot of vehicles. I've seen it plenty of times before. And it's always usually the same thing. Let me show you what it's doing. The customer's complaint is that the passenger door lock acts funky. Just so you know, this car's got 85,000 miles on it, so it's not a high mileage car or anything like that. But I've seen this quite often on many different vehicles, all sorts of different brands. Doesn't really matter. But I worked for Chrysler, so of course, I saw a little more of those. But let me show you what it's doing. So there is the door lock. Here is the button. Okay, there you see unlock and lock. I'm going to hit lock right now. See that? There's unlock. I'm going to hit it again. This is lock. I'm going to hit unlock. Let me see if I can get it to actually lock. And that's not me doing that, you can see. You can hear it. But there, I unlock it. Or I lock it. Let me see if unlock. See, it just lock. It'll just unlock, no problem. But going to lock is a problem. Anytime I've ever seen one of these, it's always been the lock actuator. On these in particular, the lock actuator is part of the latch. So, like I said, it is kind of a common failure for a lot of different vehicles. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that lock actuator, which is a latch on this one. Those are available aftermarket for these. Got it from, I believe it's a Dorman part. I'll know once it gets here, but I'm going to start taking that door apart right now. All right, so now on the passenger side, we got the door open. And what we got to do is we have to take this little trim cover out here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on a tripod. So maybe you can actually watch me do this. I may have to have a headlight on, so you may see reflection from that or lighting or whatever. So you have to pop that. Let's see. Pop that little trim, get a little screwdriver in there. Pop that out. These things suck to put back in because I had big fat fingers. Now that's a Torx. I don't recall which one it is. I have this little set here. Alright, so that's it. So take that out. Now with that screw out of the way, now what we can do, let me back you up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to de-trim this door. If I remember correctly, if memory serves me correctly, you don't have to take the entire door panel off to do this job on this vehicle. I'll get a trim tool in there. So now this whole outer piece can hang out there. Actually, I have to roll the window up because the window's actually in the way of the latch. Because the latch now is down inside there. I know it's dark and it's hard to see it, but let me roll this window up. We'll roll this window up real quick. And of course, I left my good microphone at home. I have no microphone today. So I got to try to remember to speak loud and clear All right. So now, what we have to do, oops, is that's the whole latch assembly. And if I remember correctly, this screw has to come out because this bracket here comes out with this entire assembly. So you got to release these clips. Which can sometimes be a bear. There we go. And on some cars, I tell you what, trying to keep track of where exactly the rods go can really be a pain. So, put that there. I'm going to disconnect that electrical connector there. Got to disconnect that rod in there. That one was easier. And then we have this final rod here, which I'm gonna have to get a screwdriver in there because there's no way my finger can fit in there to do that. All right, let me go get a flathead screwdriver and let me see, what is this? I don't even know. You can get a better view of it than I can. It is a Torx, or is it a Phillips? It is a Torx. Okay, I'm gonna have to get this in a shorty. What is this? This is a T25. So let me get a T25 shorty and a hand ratchet and a flathead screwdriver, and I should have everything I need to get that out of there. All right, let me just set you up right here. We're gonna shut that light off. Hold on 1 second while I go get some tools. All right, so I'm back. Now I got my T25 on a hand ratchet there. Don't drop the screw in the door. Now I'm definitely gonna have to put a headlight on. I cannot stick you in the door at the same time when I'm disconnecting this one particular rod, but you saw the clip that holds it in place. It's a red clip, and it works the same as the other clips, where you just have to press it down, and then you can release the rod. Now it's partially released, but it's hitting the actual frame of the door, so I might have to release the latch completely in order to get it out. And now the wiring harness that I disconnected just has a little clip holding it to the plastic. I'll show you that. Okay. Hold on a second, let's do it this way. See that little clip there? It goes through that hole right there. And I just used a screwdriver to depress those tabs on the end, there and there, to get it to release. All right, so as you can see, that red clip is disconnected from the rod, but the rod actually hits the metal part of the door. So I actually got to get the latch out in order to do the rest of that. So what I think I'll do is set you up here. I'm not sure what size those are. I only brought this. Oh, that's the right size. Okay. And that one is probably a T27, or not, it's actually a T30. Okay. Okay, so those three are out. So now, hopefully, this whole thing will come out. And if you look closely, see that plastic bracket that the screw went through? It's actually latched in. So this whole thing has to come this way, and then it should fall out like it just did. Oops. All right, so the rod for the interior lock just fell out. And there is another electrical connection underneath this thing. Oh, no, it just hung up on itself, that's all. All right, so there's the whole assembly. So this piece here, that's the lock rod that was on the inside that was going bump, 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 bump. So reasonably simple to take out. It's an original piece. So let me fish that rod out of the door. It fell in there. It's in there somewhere. There it is. All right. So I'm just going to stick this to the side for now. All right. So not too bad. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to wait for the new one to show up. Shut my light off there. Shut my light off there. And then when a new one shows up, we're just going to install it. Simple enough, right? All right, let's do it. All right, so the new one showed up. Here it is. And it's a Dorman. That's your number there. And as you can see, it is the same exact thing as that one. It's identical. Same color clips and everything. All right, so what we got to do is transfer over this brace piece and get it done from there. All right. So I don't know really what's involved. I'm assuming it can't be that difficult. It's just little tabs in here. See a little tab right there. Lift up on it to get that one out. And then, however this one works, this is another tab here. Okay, so this one has to come out this way, and this one has to come out this way. Can you see this? Probably not. Alright, so this one has to come out this way, this one has to come out this way. Just like that. There's that one relatched. I had to move into a different bay because I needed the other lift. So the lighting's a little bit different here. Alright. Same principle. This one latches down on here. And this one, yeah, see, I can't do them. I got them doing both simultaneously. So otherwise, you just don't have enough room to maneuver. Probably easier to get this one in first. This out of the way. I think you can see what I'm doing, right? That down like that. It's like a little puzzle to figure out. All right, so we have all the, make sure your clips are on the right side because sometimes clips can go on the wrong side. And actually here, look, I think I just said that. The yellow clip is in the wrong spot, see that? It's gotta be in that hole, not that hole. So we're gonna maneuver that. Everything else looks the same. All right, so we gotta take this clip here and transfer it to that hole. And that should be a relatively simple procedure. It's just you squeeze this end together a bit to get it to pop out. I might need a pair of needle nose pliers for this. No, I just walked it with the screwdriver. There you see. So now we want it in the same position as the original, which is in this hole here, right here. So there, and it snaps in place. That's really all it does. All right, so now we can install this. Back you up a little bit. Get the panel down. Now, like I said, I need some light in here because I cannot see. Move the wiring harness out of the way from myself. And it's just a matter of fishing the latch down in place. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this rod first, because otherwise you ain't never getting that thing in place. Let me see. Let me just re-angle I just laid it down on the door so I can re-angle the camera. Get your opening on your clip away from where it needs to be. So now from here, basically going in through the door opening. I'm sorry I'm moving the camera around a lot. I kind of have to in order to show you this. Whoops. There's a funny saying I could say, but I'm not about to do it because it's not a PG saying. But it has to do with monkeys and footballs. Some of you know what I'm talking about. So there you can just see the clip, or the rod rather, right there. The rod catch into where it needs to go. You got to get it all the way in. Screwdriver. And make sure it's in as far as it can possibly go. Now with that being said, now I'm going to catch the screws that hold everything in place. And then I'll catch the actual latch the clip actually at the very end. Alright, so we got the 3 screws that go in here. Sometimes you got to manipulate it a little bit to make things work the way you want it to work. And there's also a gasket in here, and you have to crush the gasket. Oops, wrong screw. The correct screw is a machine screw with a taper head. And what I'm actually doing right now is I am, with my other hand, I am grabbing the back side of this and I'm pushing it this way to compress this gasket in here to catch the screws. And there again, you always want to start screws by hand. You don't want to force them in with a gun, because that's a recipe for cross-threading. notice I don't tighten up just one. I go a little bit until they start tightening up. Okay, now this is a 1/4 inch ratchet and a 1/4 inch socket. So it's not like I'm gonna go animal crazy tightening that up. I'm referring to animals a lot today. I have monkeys and footballs, stuff like that. So, okay. So here we are to the inside now. Let me see if I can have you guys watch me. I'm getting you as close as I possibly can to the action. Now you're going to go under that clip and try to lift it up into place. Sometimes that can be a real bear just in itself. But yeah, trying to do this with the camera right there is near impossible. But you get the gist. I got to lift that thing up so it snaps over the clip. So let me move you to over here so you can see me. Plus they're brand new clips, so they have a tendency to be really tight. And not achieving what I want to achieve. Ah, there it goes, okay. What I wound up doing was I wound up pulling on the handle here, and pulling on the handle here, getting it out a little further, allowed me to manipulate it enough to do what I needed to do. Okay, so that's that. So now I'm going to catch this rod in here. This is for the outside lock cylinder. A lot of cars don't have this anymore. And now we're going to catch this rod. This one's probably going to be fun. Not exactly sure how it's supposed to go through here when it fell out. Okay. So there it is up through there. The fact is getting it where it actually is supposed to be. There it goes. So now with that being said, get the clip the opposite end of where it needs to be, push the rod through like that, and then dunk. Alright, so now we have the electrical connector, which we're going to catch the retainer in there. And then we're going to plug the top of the plug in there. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Did that actually go in? I think it did. What can you guys see? Let's see, did that go in? That's a question. I would say so. Alright, so that's good. That's good. Alright, so now I gotta put this one screw in here, which is, oh shoot, see what I forgot to do? Okay. Luckily this thing flexes enough. Kind of an odd setup the way they did this vehicle. Some of the stuff is just like the fact that it really doesn't have, well, I mean, it does have an inner door panel, but the fact that the inner door panel also serves as part of the structure to hold that latch assembly sturdy, I just find very odd. And also, the door panel on this also houses the motor. That's the power window motor bolted to the actual door panel itself, because it has an inner metal structure through there. You can see it inside there, but the motor is actually bolted to the plastic door panel. All right, so let's get this back up in place. Oops, just threw a screwdriver. That wasn't cool. Alright, so now we get to catch this screw down inside here, which will turn on some light, and that'll help a little bit, not much. Tighten that like so, and now we got to put that cap back on. And like I said, these can be a real pain in the neck, but I think it's because I have such fat fingers. So I got to add a little more light to it. Sorry if it affects the camera, but I can't see what I'm doing. So, oh, there it goes. Oh, I got it pretty easy. Okay, cool. All right, so that is pretty much it, and as you saw, it locked and unlocked perfectly. Let me just... Remember before it was bouncing? So I'll accept that. That's a win. All right, that's good. Hopefully you got something out of that. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.